Hello and welcome back to Automotive Tales. On this episode, we are getting ready for the trip to Le Mans. So it is just over a week before we set off to the Circuit de la Sarthe, and you'd think, well, you don't need a week to prep and pack. Well, you might be right if I had a car for the journey. Can't use this car, this belongs to Mrs. Automotive Tales. Most of the others are either not prepped or not suitable for the journey. You've seen the Land Rover, never going to make it in that. So, I'm on the way to pick up Tim, who's coming with me to Le Mans, and we're going to go buy a car with less than a week till we drive to the middle of France. What could possibly go wrong? So, I've picked up my partner in crime, Tim. And Tim, so where are we going and what are we getting?
We're going to Coventry to pick up a beautiful £710 Saab.
Excellent. What could possibly go wrong? Right, road trip. So this is our mighty steed. We have bought a Saab 9.3 Vector Sport. She's a 1.9 TDI. £710 all in. Not bad. It needs for a few bits and pieces, but is generally quite a tidy car. 2006. So I've not really been in a modern Saab, but there are some super cool things in this car already I've noticed. The first of them is this, which is possibly the world's coolest cup holder. And then there's the handbrake, which when it's off, goes flush with the handle over here. You've got the key in the middle. You don't have to have this in gear, I don't think, like you do older Saabs to get the key out. But yeah, very cool little thing. And I quite like, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but when you move this around, it just moves like a load of layers. It looks like some sort of computer program going around inside, which is very, very cool. Right, time to put some miles on it and tell you what we think of it. Got a squeaky seat apparently, but that might be because it's ridiculously hot today. Very nice. Right, next job is to get it home. So as you can see, we are on the way home with the Saab. We're driving up the M69. We're going to stop at Leicester Forest East for a bit of food, and I've just been on the phone with Mrs. Automotive Tales telling her how great this £710 Saab really is. Only for, while on the phone, a bit of the Saab to fly off and nearly hit me square in the windscreen. Tim is blissfully unaware, but you might be able to work out from the camera footage what's fallen off. If not, I'm really hoping the dash cam has captured it. I tell you what, £710 for a Saab, it's a bloody nice car.
Yeah.
It needs for a few things, but nothing major. Unbelievable. Really smart machine, so all good so far.
Well, fingers crossed that you get how far you can last for a day.
A couple of miles, which is interesting because the rear lens just came off the light cluster. Oh man.
Well, fingers crossed that you get how far you can last for a day.
The lens cover came off the Saab at 70 miles an hour, leaving a very Lexus looking clear light unit, which is a problem. So we're going to need to get a new one of them before we drive to France. But all the fun of buying a cheap car. Oh yeah, Now he's hit the brakes, we've got a very, very bright white light instead of an indicator. So hopefully you can now see that. Right, next stop, Leicester Forest East, and a sit rep.
Please keep left.
So here we are at Leicester Forest East. Fun fact about the Saab. So it is an orphan of the ULEZ zone. So the owner has a place in Coventry and a place in London. And unfortunately, thanks to the wonderful way in which ULEZ works, he has to pay every time he drives it. So it's no longer viable for him to have this car in London, which is probably the reason it's so cheap. That and the fact that, as you can now see, the lens cover has well and truly blown off the back of that car. Right. Now, my next job is to try and find somewhere to park in this horrible little car park that is Leicester Forest East. Right, Tim's going down there, so I'm going to go down here. So we have got the Saab home. As you can tell, the temperature has changed. Rather than the near 30 degrees we had the other day, it's now down in the low teens. Luckily, it's going to be good weather in France. So what is there to tell you about the Saab? So I've already told you it's a 1.9 diesel. It has got 185,000 miles on the clock, and it is MOT'd until November. We've not really had any major issues with it so far. The tyres are looking a little bit low. Now we've left it for a day or two. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. There's a few other annoying things, like this, which seems to be a common thing. I saw this on the Mazda and on various other vehicles I've owned. And yeah, otherwise it seems to be okay. It's sat here for a few days, started first time without any problems. And we're starting to discover the kind of cool features that you get in a Saab. So every Saab is a bit of an enigma. And even these late models that were very GM heavy still have some really cool Scandinavian features. So I've already shown you the epic cup holder and the cool like 80s pixelated air vents. But let me show you some of the cool things we found. So I mentioned before about the handbrake. I've put it in gear now so I can take the handbrake off, and you can see it sits nice and flush with the centre console, which is cool. I've since learned that apparently this thing over here, you can get an ice scraper to sit in here, which is pretty funky, very Scandinavian. The other cool thing that you might not know about Saabs, everybody that's got a Saab will already know this, but those that don't might not, is this cool thing here, the night panel. So what does this mean? What does night panel mean? Well, basically, what it means is when you're driving at night, you don't want the glare of all these dials distracting you from the road. So this button here allows you to turn the backlights off to absolutely everything except the speedo. So you can concentrate on the speed you are traveling and the road ahead of you. Apparently, if you end up low on fuel, the fuel warning light will come on despite this button. And it will also show you things like check engine lights, etc. But the rev counter will go off. It doesn't just hide it by turning the light off, it just goes off completely. And the radio will go completely black. If you touch the dials, it will come back on again. And then it will go off again after a short period of time, which is pretty cool. And then there's one other epic feature hiding in here. So, not just all the massive stack of history and all the owner's manuals and everything that comes with this car, which is incredible for something so cheap, but you might just be able to see a little button right down there at the back of the glove box. That allows you to turn on air conditioning in your glove box. So you can actually cool this in the hot summers in Scandinavia, or as we're going to do in the hot summers in France, and keep your chocolate cold. I mean, that does also require the AC to actually work. It works, just needs regassing. And we travel in sort of like 5 days. So the chances of getting that done before we go is looking slim. So this might be a very sweaty trip because we've some more important things to deal with, notably that broken tail light. So as you can see, the light cluster is actually okay. It's just this plastic sort of outer lens that's come away. You see all the glue has just turned to mush. Now, apparently this is really, really common, which means these are impossible to find. I rang, I think, 3 different breakers yard. One of them actually laughed at me when I said I needed a rear left lens unit for a Saab 9.3. He said, and I quote, "Good luck." So, to ensure our Scandinavian superstar is ready for the trip to Le Mans, I've had to make a small modification. Ta-da! So this is not some sort of Lexus style aftermarket light. This is actually the facelift unit for the Saab 9.3. So about 6 to 9 months after this car was sold, they finished the facelift they started. This has got the facelift interior, but not the facelift rear lights. So this fits in place of that, but it's still going to look pretty stupid because, you know, don't look the same. Added to that, buying just one light unit is really quite difficult. So, ta-da! We have a complete set of facelift lights. So, the first job we're going to have to do before we drive this car anywhere is replace all of the lights. Great. Except we're not, because I'm an idiot and I brought my camera stand, but not the bit to actually put the camera on the top. So I'm going to talk you around some of the other things on the car and contemplate why I'm an idiot. This is why I'm an idiot. I even remembered to bring a toolkit. There's a spare mirror, which I'll talk about in a second. All of my mounts that I want to try for a new camera we've got for this trip. This very important box here from Stickered Up for Le Mans, which we will also get to in a second. My light covers for going into Europe, the dash cam I want to install, all the other safety bits we need for France, like the breathalyzer, my little USB charger. I brought all of this and forgot to bring the camera mount. Moron. So the reason I have a mirror in a bag is because this one is smashed to high heaven. So as I mentioned before, this is a ULEZ Orphan, and it kind of shows. Mechanically, the car is really quite nice, but cosmetically, it's a little rough around the edges. So I suspect it's been street parked somewhere in London. Someone has come along and swiped this, and possibly even been dinged in the past at the back. That might be why the lens was loose and has failed. And you can see the kind of usual bumps and scrapes and scars that you expect for a car in London, as well as all the curb rash. So while it's not important, I just thought while I was going to the breaker's yard and getting bits, I'd get a new mirror. That might be a job we do at Le Mans, because I don't think we're going to end up having time for that. So we're going to have a go with shaky cam, given I haven't got my camera mount. And I'm going to tell you what this little box is all about. So those that go to Le Mans or have seen my previous videos will know it's kind of obligatory to put stickers on the car to drive down to France, just so everybody knows you're an idiot that's going to watch the motorsport at Le Mans. And the guys at Stickered for Le Mans do the best stickers. So we've got some fun stuff to put on the car, and I don't really need to do a time lapse of me putting stickers on, so I'm going to have a go at putting some of them on now, and I'll deal with the lights tomorrow when I'm, you know, more organised. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Next time on Automotive Tales. It's a ski hatch. How cool is that? So, you know, if we keep some cool beers in the boot, someone in the back can reach in and grab one.